There's a common piece of cooking advice that many people accept without question. If your tomato sauce tastes too sharp, just add a pinch of sugar to cut the acidity. It's found in cookbooks, food blogs, and even shared by grandmothers. But here's the twist: the chemistry suggests it's not doing what you think. The acid remains unchanged. So, what is that spoonful of sugar really doing? Let's explore. First, let's look at what's actually in the pot. Tomatoes are naturally acidic, with a pH ranging from 4.3 to 4.9, which is definitely sour territory. This acidity primarily comes from citric acid and malic acid, the same acids found in citrus fruits and green apples. So when your sauce tastes sharp, that sharpness is real and chemical. It's important to note that this acid is stable. Simmering, stirring, or adding ingredients doesn't make it disappear. Keep that in mind as it's where the common explanation falls apart. But sourness isn't the only flavor at play. Tomatoes also contain glutamate, which gives that savory umami taste. This is why cooked tomatoes taste rich and satisfying rather than just sour. As the sauce simmers, new flavors develop. The natural sugars in tomatoes caramelize, adding a gentle sweetness, while some browning can introduce a slight bitterness. So, in every spoonful, you have four competing flavors: sour, savory, sweet, and bitter. Remember that word: balance. It's key to understanding our question. Now, let's talk about sugar. This is where the popular explanation falters. If sugar were neutralizing the acid, the pH would rise, making the sauce less acidic. However, if you measure it, adding a typical amount of sugar barely changes the pH. A teaspoon of sugar does not chemically neutralize citric acid. Instead, sugar interacts with your taste buds. There's a phenomenon in taste science called mixture suppression. When sweetness and sourness hit your receptors together, the sweetness reduces the intensity of the sourness. The acid remains present, you just perceive it less. This is a useful effect, but it's about perception, not neutralization. Understanding this distinction helps you know when sugar might not be the right solution. So, when should you actually use sugar? If your sauce genuinely tastes too sour and you want to soften that sharpness without altering anything else, sugar can be effective. It masks excess sourness well. However, many people overlook that too acidic isn't always the real issue. If the sauce tastes flat or thin, sugar won't help. What it needs is salt, which enhances savory flavors and suppresses bitterness more effectively than sugar. If the sauce is harsh because it's undercooked, sugar is just a temporary fix. It needs time to simmer, allowing the sharp acids to mellow and the natural sweetness to develop. If you've burnt the garlic or tomato paste, that bitterness won't be fixed with sugar. Remember, this is all about taste and cooking chemistry, not dietary advice. So, what's the honest verdict? Sugar isn't cutting the acid, it's altering your perception of it. Sometimes that's exactly what you want, but often salt or thyme is the better solution. Here's the bigger lesson: cooking rules persist not because the explanations are accurate, but because the actions yield results. Add sugar to cut acidity is a half truth that becomes gospel over time. Once you realize that sugar works on your tongue, you stop using it mindlessly. Instead, you start asking the right questions. Is this sauce sour, flat, or bitter? Each has a different solution. That's the difference between following a recipe and truly understanding one. If you want more insights into kitchen chemistry like this, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.